Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. It's Thursday evening and we have yet another online championship race here in Le Mans Ultimate. Yes, we are cracking these out between the two series that we are competing within. And tonight we've got the Xperience series. One that I've been racing in a little bit longer than the other, I'd say. And the one that I'm probably feeling a little bit more comfortable in, as we are driving the hypercar, the Porsche 963, one of the LMDHs here in the class, and it is a very, very stacked and competitive field, as we've got split one of three, so it's going to be a tough ask to try and get a good result here this evening, especially as at this circuit, Qatar, the Peugeots are extremely fast. Yeah, the bop isn't particularly great at the moment. The majority of the cars are kind of in and around the right sort of ballpark. It's just the Peugeots that seem to have a pretty clear and significant advantage over the rest of the cars, much like the Toyota and Ferrari did last season. So we're going to have our struggles today, and also we're going to have some other struggles as well, which we'll get onto and discuss a little bit later on here in the session. Thank God. Just went to have a look at the tyre page to see how many tyres we actually have for this event, and thankfully there are 8. That was one of my worries, one of my concerns coming here into this race, that we're only going to have 6, which wouldn't have worked out particularly well for us, I don't think. But yeah, having 8, I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Yeah. So the Qatar circuit's first time racing at this track, and let me just say, it's been a fun experience learning it. It's devoid of any unique features around the track, unique reference points. So it's very much a circuit that you kind of have to learn where the track goes and have that embedded in your memory to build up a flow and a rhythm as you go around the circuit, because flow and rhythm seems to be very, very important here at this track. Like I say, there's no real clear, obvious reference points to kind of gauge things off of. So whilst you'll be braking into certain corners, you obviously have various different sort of brake markers that you can use, but there's no real, I say, unique features. There's no massive elevation changes. There's no real buildings around the circuit that can kind of give you an indication, okay, this corner's coming up next, and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's fun. The track itself, though, it's a great circuit to drive. Very demanding in terms of commitment, and having that flow and rhythm is quite technical in a couple of sections, and it really, really rewards patience as well. That's the other thing that I've noticed, is you've really got to be pinpoint accurate and really take your time in some of the corners, as you will be punished for being greedy, trying to take too much speed or trying to get on the throttle too early. Even though it feels like you can get on throttle, you just have to wait and bide your time to do so. So a unique circuit. The multi-class element is going to be very interesting around this track as well, because whilst obviously I've been practicing, I haven't actually raced around it. And in the last practice session that I just did, let me just say, the whole multi-class traffic was pretty terrifying. Some of the GT3s, I don't know whether it's the particular drivers, and they may not quite be at the highest skill level, some of the drivers that will be in GT3s here in Split 1, but they seem to be very, very slow at a number of the apexes, and the closing speeds in some of the corners, some of the sections, especially the last sector, is terrifying around this circuit, because we can carry so much more speed in our hypercars than the GT3s can. So we're going to be taking the medium tyres for this one. And this is going to be one of the interesting aspects of this track, because you'll notice Basically, the medium tyres, their peak optimal temperature is 87 degrees, and you'll notice that throughout the lap we will be going quite substantially over that, especially on the left front. So you'd think that the hard tyre is going to be the choice to use, but the hard tyre has less peak grip than the medium tyre does. So you're already at a disadvantage there, and you don't want to run the hard tyres all round, because I was losing like kind of half a second to 0.6 of a second a lap running hards in comparison to mediums. But you can see up in that top left hand corner, some people have medium tyres, which are the yellow marked tyres, and then some people have a single red tyre, which is the hard tyre, and they're running it on the front left. Now that's what I've been running in practice and was testing. Thankfully, I was quite smart, and in the last hour and a half been testing some race runs. And what I've been finding is that because the hard tyre is more durable, that front left isn't wearing as quickly as the rest of the tyres are. And because of that, mixed in with it being able to deal with the temperatures a little bit better, it actually produces a little bit more grip. So coming through these three corners here, in this last sector, and this one, the car starts to become more and more sketchy as you drive through the stint, because it has more grip, and it kind of overpowers the other tyres. So it creates quite a sketchy and hairy experience where it starts off good once you get up to temperature. It takes a little bit longer to get up to temperature, but once it gets up to temperature, it then becomes a little bit terrifying to drive. And I tested the mediums, and although they overheat in that final sector, they do actually continue to wear at the same rate as the rest of the tyres, obviously, because you've got mediums on all four corners. And the issue of the front left overpowering the other tyres isn't as prevalent as you go into the stint. So I think running mediums on all four corners is going to be the way to go. But it'll be interesting to see. This is also another circuit that is very, very prone to picking up track limits, so we'll be watching out for that throughout the course of the race, and having to probably play it cautious and safe in a number of areas just to avoid picking up any penalties, because it's very, very easy to run right in a number of spots. But yeah, these corners here are absolutely mighty, and where flow and rhythm is really needed, and you need to be pinpoint accurate with these curves as well. You don't want to be dipping the wheels the other side of them, because it bottoms out the car. You can run the car very, very low around this track because it is so smooth. So low and hard is the direction that we've gone with the setup. Basically just try to maximise the downforce, because a lot of these sweeping corners really benefit from kind of pushing going into them and using the car's speed and downforce, which is why it makes it so scary with the multi-class traffic. So obviously the GT3 cars don't have quite as much downforce, therefore they're taking corners slower. And yeah, it makes for some hairy moments. Anyway, we need to be doing less of that. We need to kind of look after the tyres a little bit, because we're going to be needing this set for the race in that second stint. So what we'll do is we'll probably go for one, maybe two more push laps. I don't want to wear the tyres down too much. In fact, we can take this nice and easy through here, seeing as we actually aren't on a push lap. And then call it done for qualifying. So I think it's going to pay dividends in the race if we keep things clean. So here we go then. I'm going to shut up now because I need to focus and get a good lap in. Here's a lap at full swag around Sail International Qatar circuit. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. I probably could go a little bit quicker, a little bit tidier in that final sector in particular, but I don't want to take away too much from the tyres. So that'll be that for now. Probably could have made some changes to the car just to improve the handling a little bit. Generally, I think that quality setup feels relatively good. And then there are some differences between the quality setup and this race setup as well. So yeah, 92% on the left side tyres, 95, 94. They're probably worn a little bit more than I actually want them to be because of the spin that we had in the qualifying, or near spin, shall I say. That big slide probably took a bit of life out of the tyres, but still, we're managing. Hello, Dot. Hello, Jensen. Good to see you both. How are you both doing? And yes, indeed, it is pretty warm here. I do have couple of fans going. I've got one down on my legs. I've got a big one here next to me blowing directly onto me. I do also have the as you can see, the blind partially open and a window open as well to try and let some of the cooler air in. I think it's like 27, 28 degrees here in the flat, so it's pretty warm, and around this time it's probably getting to similar sort of temperature. So as the air cools down, as we go into the evening throughout this race, it should get a little bit cooler. It says that as obviously the PC is continuing to produce heat and emit heat throughout the entire time. So it's a balancing act, counterbalances between the two. Anyway, I'm going to very quickly go for a last minute blue stop, and then we'll be good to go for the start of the race. Hello, I'm back. Get the stuff around. We're starting P13 out of 19. Nice Sotter at the top. Bloody hell. I have to say, what's not surprising is the number of Peugeots doing well. There do be a lot of them. I maybe could have got a position or two in qualifying if I had actually hooked up the lap, but I'm not too fussed with where we are. I'd rather preserve the tyres. But a top 10 would be nice. Try and keep our nose clean, because obviously high downforce circuit, damaging any of the bodywork is going to be pretty detrimental to our race.
Teams and drivers go to the grid for a race start.
Be that. So, should be good. Yeah, I'd go Toyota or Ferrari. Either of the two, they're both pretty good. The only thing with the Ferrari is just watch the rear end going into Indianapolis corner if you're driving at Le Mans. You do need to be on throttle for that, because the rear end will want to swap around on you. That's the only thing to really watch out for with that car. And start, yep, at 9.8, which is what we're on. Start off on new mediums. I'm going to make that one... No, I'm not going to make that one tweak. If I need a fiddle with anything, I can do the anti-roll bars. So we're going new tyres for the start. And we should be all good. These mediums at 9.8, we want 100%. For our stop, we're going to be going near enough flat out, or maybe save a lap of fuel. Depends on the pace of the leaders, but I'm expecting them to be doing basically 1 minute 40 flat. People have gone for a harder front left tyre. Interesting. See how that pans out for them later in the race. A few of us have gone mediums all round, but not everybody.
Formation lap has started.
Yeah, Toyota is a pretty strong, stable car, so it wouldn't be a bad choice picking that up. Right, everything should be all good in terms of the stream. You guys haven't mentioned that anything's wrong, so let's get ourselves ready to start the race. And indeed, I will be swapping to the best of British on the hypercars when that Valkyrie does come out. Hopefully, it is competitive. Alright, here we go. Ready for that race start. Good reaction to the lights.
Green flag, green flag.
We're underway racing. Everyone barreling into turn one. There's some contact between people up in front. 2-3 wide. That's what you want to be seeing. Silver. and that Peugeot seem to not give a damn about anyone's safety rating and just making absolutely mad and wild sense. Settle this down. Why? Just because I had a bad corner or two, deciding to really try and annoyingly send it. Patience is the key here. So, not the best of starts, not what I was hoping for. Lost an awful lot of positions, but long race. It's going to be a lot of that happening. So I just wanted... Well, I picked up some damage somewhere. Supposedly. Don't know where from. But yeah, it's quite easy to make mistakes around here, so want to be smooth. Try and look after the car. Avoid picking up track limits penalties. There's one. Poopy driving an alternative layout. Yep. Making a lot of mistakes like that one. Back up onto the Porsche in front. Good thing is, car's feeling good at this point. Come on, straight line speed. Neck and neck. That was close. A little too wide. I was hoping the car was going to tuck in a little bit better than that. There we go. Onto the back of the GT3s. This is going to get real interesting now. Potentially very, very scary. But hopefully people are sensible. Needed that. Wanted to get in front there. Thank you very much, Skippy. making the traffic work. Guys in front are going to get held up big time here. Drama. Traffic, traffic, traffic. Making things interesting, that's for sure. Gotta stay calm, smooth, patient. Just keep picking the cars off in all the right places. Trying to time things as best as I possibly can and not get caught up in situations like that where Peugeot's tucked right up underneath the rear wing of a GT3 and hammering a brake. Caught straddling the curb a little bit there. Did unsettle the car. So yeah, that front tyre's getting up to 98 to 100 odd degrees in that final sector there. Just like way above where it should be. Its peak operating temperature is 87 degrees C. There's not much to do about that really. Try and manage it as best as I can. Deal with the consequences. Yeah, so as I was explaining earlier, the medium's peak operating temperature is 87 degrees, the hard's is 93. Therefore, it does provide a little bit more grip when it's hotter, because obviously once the medium gets too hot, obviously it loses grip, whereas the hard, you got a bit more leeway. However, you don't want to run hard tyres all round because the peak grip of the hard tyre is lower than the medium, and I was losing about half a second to 6-7 tenths of a second per lap running all hards versus all mediums. And I tested a lot with a hard front left and mediums all round, and whilst it was good for qualifying, what I was finding in the longer runs is because the hard tyre is more durable, it was maintaining more tyre grip going into the stint whilst the others were wearing off, and that was actually starting to overpower the rest of the medium tyres. And in that final sector, the car was just becoming a bit more sketchy as that front left had more grip than the rest of the tyres and was overpowering the rest. Whereas running the medium, yes, although it is overheating the tyre wear, means that you don't really ever get into that window where that front left is overpowering the other tyres, and therefore the car's handling remains more consistent throughout the stint. So you probably see it in places, especially coming into the next set of 3 left-handers. The 2 cars in front moving around a fair bit more as they push through the corner. I mean, the Ferrari looked relatively stable. There was a little bit of oversteer and a bit more yaw on rotation in that first left-hander, but the other 2 looked pretty good on him. But the Peugeot, you can tell, is definitely struggling a little bit, just because you don't have that confidence and the belief that the rear tyres are going to keep up with that front left. You can manage it with the anti-roll bars, but Daisy. It's not ideal to do. That's really not what I wanted or needed. Just snagged the rear brakes a little bit there. Silly little mistake. Especially as we were looking strong and getting onto the back of those cars in front. It felt like it was just going to be a matter of time before we ended up passing them. So try and knuckle back in and regain that time lost. Shouldn't have spoke going into the braking zone. I watched James Baldwin's video as well about braking, and one of his tips is don't talk in the braking zone. He's right. That's true. It's just a little bit obviously frustrating having lost 7 seconds or so. Which in the grand scheme of things isn't a huge amount. The problem is now I've got some vibration on the tyres. It's fairly small and light, but it's there. And it's going to be there throughout the entirety of the stint. I mean, it's probably going to be there on the next set of tyres as well, because I did have a almost spin in qualifying. Has anybody seen what times the leader's doing? That worked out nicely. Yep, that's what a lot of the esports and more sweaty players are doing. I've seen that as well. Michi Hoyer does it. Right, we are going to have to save at least one lap of fuel, I reckon, here in this race. Although it might be a bit late to do it here in this stint, we may have to do it on the second. 43.7, okay. That would be with traffic. So it should be down in the 39/40s. How much slower we are compared to them, or how much faster rather, or how much slower they are compared to us. That's the right way to phrase that. To back off so much in the apex for that left-hander. Definitely gain time again on the cars in front. I'll probably just end up being further up the road if I hadn't had that spin. I imagine I would have been past both Poor and De Silva. This could get wild. Okay, not as wild as I thought it might be. I mean, still fairly. Lovely stuff. No! Where did that one come from? I mean, tyres are starting to get more worn, but that was a frustrating one. Was a little bit risky. All right. Refocus, regroup, go again. Big one. That. Hey Darren. Thanks for tuning in and saying hi. Whereabouts in Canada are you? Stomach that one. New Brunswick, East Coast. Nice. Somewhere new. Somewhere I've not heard of before. What's the weather like where you are? Not unlike the UK. All down most of the time. Onshore fog. 25 degrees is hot here. Yep, it's above that right now. Here in the UK. Going. Yeah, they probably don't have the sea breeze coming in. Almost forgot where I was then. Is that what corner is this? This is one of those fast right-handers, isn't it? Nope, nope, it's that second/third gear. Right-handed hairpin. That's the problem with this track. It's hard to tell where you are sometimes. Silver's had a bit of a nightmare. There you go, 45 pi for him. Yeah, that's the other problem, especially with new builds as well. They're so efficient at trapping and keeping that hot air in. Makes it even more difficult in these sort of conditions and temperatures. Despite running wide there, we're still probably quicker than sitting behind the Mustang. Sense, Darren. I know you guys over in Canada use a lot of wood because it's a warmer material. We do still tend to use stone and brick, but put a lot of insulation in as well. Tend to have 2 layers. Rather than just one. Vibrations get a little bit more prominent now. Oh, the track limits there, really? That's quite surprising. Alright, 9 seconds up the road, come on. To save a single lap on the next stint. Jesus, even the lead has been fuel saving quite a bit. 27%. We'll say the 2 spins that we had not helped our cause. Any real moments like that? Sticking in a stack of 141s. Copy. catching the cars in front. V12 has bumped away. Obviously they've not made any mistakes yet. Actually, I had to brake there in the exit of the corner. That's slow. Take that one, thank you. I did. They just lost so much time in that last sector, 2.5 seconds. They are quite clearly struggling, for whatever reason. 2 more laps. Ah, bit. Sorry. That was my bad. Buff out. Hopefully it's only very, very slight damage. Right, one more. In fact, it's not even popping up on the repairable. Oh, the silver's really struggling. I don't want that Porsche. Porsche isn't ideal. Not yet. There's a lot more people here than I was expecting. Here we go. Lovely. Ah! Okay, let's put me on the other used mediums. Hey Graham, I absolutely panicked and shat myself for a moment there because I thought it was going to stick me on used 42% tyres. I was like, no, it's not what I want. But thankfully, it's putting me on the right ones. So, all is good. Right, this stint we're going to need to feel safe. Go tyres being done. It's tight here with me and the GT3. Hopefully they give us a little bit of room though. bad are these tyres? Not great, but they will pick up, generate heat pretty quickly. Ah, the Porsche in front has got a drive-through. It's made things a little bit easier for us. Now we've got quite a bit more grip than used to, so we need to get up to speed fairly quick. And also defend to this this Porsche behind us at the same time. Strange looking Porsche. Sorry, Peugeot. I hope Aaron just brought them off going into the pits. Right, where is the silver? We're ahead of them. Cool. Pain come from? Pretty crucial to hold on to that position. Hopefully it'll start giving me the stuff to lift and coast with, so we can save that extra lap. Then let's go. Okay. That caught me off guard a little bit. It works out rather nicely. Right, now we can go on the hunt for Paul up in front. Demoliers and the rest as well. 15 seconds up the road. Could be catchable. Accidentally shifting to neutral there, didn't mean to do that. And yes, it does look like they may have messed up. They probably treated it as fuel to add rather than fuel that you want. So it looks like they have underfueled and will need to pit again. How much time they lose from that? I don't know. I don't think it'll be a minute. Yeah, a minute and a half. They are ahead of us, so they're only 10 seconds behind. So I don't think we get a position from there, but it's definitely cost them a lead. Yeah, basically what you want to be doing for this race, the strategy here is extend the stint by 1 lap in one of the 2 stints. Only stop once. Otherwise, if you go flat out, you have to stop twice with a splash and dash for like 1, maybe 2 laps. Where I kind of started to look at that fuel strategy a bit too late in the first stint. I wasn't able to do any fuel saving in the first one. It simply just cost me time, so I'm having to do it here in the second one instead. Moment. We're saving quite nicely. Perhaps a little bit more than I need to be, but we'll be making the strategy work. Back marker, it's gone off. There they are rejoining. V12, nice. P11. Top 10 is on the cards. Would be there already if we hadn't had those two spins. Most likely. Providing everything else went well. Made it tight for myself there. Made it work though. Lost a little bit of time to pull in front, but traffic had a part. Not been able to shake free this Peugeot as of yet. Although they do have a lot less fuel than I do. Just seen that. I don't think they're going to be able to make it. Did not want that. It's the race leader. Ooh. race leader up. Come on, your head's stuck down. I don't think we need a fuel save anymore. Stint calculator is saying 61 laps. It's going to be the race length, but it's indicating at the moment 58.5. Stop making those sort of mistakes. Oh, there we go. Potential P10. Nax in the pits. It's on the cards, ladies and gents. So now how's actually got me questioning, have I actually taken too much? focusing. And massively defensive there for whatever reason. V2's in the Ferrari, not the Peugeot. Oh, I'm gonna get the Lamborghini at the worst point. So is the Peugeot in front. That's a little bit frustrating. E2's getting annoyed with De Silva. About judged that well enough. P2's not having fun with the GT traffic. This is interesting. I'm going to deal with the leaders coming through. Oh, that GT3 there is not ideal, as you can see, and that's left a big gap now that I didn't want. So I wanted De Silva to let P3 through and then maybe right there try and mount an attack, but it's not going to work. So I can just lift off here on this straight, let him through as he's doing. Could be fine. Well, now De Silva's going for it. A little bit caught up by the traffic there. It wasn't too bad in the grand scheme of things. Didn't lose too much time. Paul's got to drive through. Oh. It's going to work nicely in our favour. Gives the freebie. Up into P11, closer to that top 10. Guys might be alright actually in terms of fuel. They might actually make it to the end. I was thinking that they may have to splash and dash, but We're only doing 58, 59 laps. And there's only about 8% difference. They should be able to make it. In the pit to service drive-through. Catching Demoliers as well. Gap's down to 14 odd seconds. It was 16 previously when I last saw him. This last sector's so much fun. Very rewarding when you nail it. Quite badly there. was a big moment. One way to move nicely out the way. Sock. Big risk. Oh, that was a snap. Okay. We're starting to feel the pressure, I think. Oh dear, P3 spun. V3 go. Although I didn't need them to do that. What the? What? What the hell is this? What the hell? I've never had this before. The screen's just gone completely black. It's gone black on my end as well. Someone turn out the lights. I think that's it. I think that's done. Like, what else can I do? Cycle cams? I don't have a button to cycle cameras. I don't know what the button is. Controls. Camera. Driving cameras. I don't have a button for it. Do that. No, it's all just gone black. That's so annoying and frustrating. The hell is all that about? I don't know if I've got anything that allows me to check temperatures of devices. Door, do you know of anything built in? GPU ID, the only thing I can think of is, yeah, if a GPU or CPU temps have got too hot. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, it's pretty hot, but it's not like roasting. I don't want to update, I just want to see. Temperatures, 76, 75. That's CPU, 76. 55. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any issues there. Yeah, it looks completely like game end. Well, we got it back. Oh, that's really frustrating. I'm gonna have to forward that one onto the devs, see if they know anything about it. It is, it's a brand new track. Looks like the Silver's hanging on to the position and Kemi's pulling away. The Rigoletto and the Isotta. There you go, there's the end of the race. Woo. Some good sounds. So very frustrating. That could have been a potential top 10 there. Yeah, I don't know. It's not because it's not like everything went pitch black. Like the sky was still kind of there. It's like the colours kind of went inverted. It was yeah, really odd. And obviously annoying. How many laps did they do in the end? 59. So yeah, we could have gone like full tilt throughout the whole thing and taken a lap off in terms of fuel. So Lex, if you're watching this back, do that in your race on Saturday. And yeah, I'll show the setup again. Everything is saved anywhere, and I'll be uploading it to Ultimate Setup Hub for everyone to enjoy. Tires ended up kind of being in and around similar sort of amount of wear at the end, even though the second stint was shorter and on more worn tires, but track obviously gripped up then, and it didn't also have 2 spins on that set as well. So yeah, yeah, kind of. It's like all textures, or the majority of textures just kind of like disappeared. So we lost 5 with that. Yeah. I mean, we gained we gained ESSA, which was nice, but obviously we lost driver rating, which isn't ideal. Otherwise, we probably would have gained a fair amount over, obviously, Ryan Gill, and then we're ahead of Buono, which would have given us an absolute metric ton because they were gold rated. There's an S3 there as well. So yeah, we could have gained a heavier amount of rating. Yeah, it does seem like it only happened to me, but I'll forward it on to the devs so they can see, let us know if anything strange happened. But it looked like all the temperatures and everything else like that were fine. It's the first time that I've ever had that sort of issue before, so yeah, bit of a shame. But hey ho, it is what it is. We've got one more round on this championship. And yeah, the last one is at Yaroslav. It's nice. So Le Mans should be fun, and then we've got Prototype Trophy next week. Sebring, circuit that I'm going to look forward to and enjoy. We've got 2 more rounds of that. I don't think there is in terms of visuals. Probably worth a check. Formation lap. No. Doesn't look like it. I'm going to get rid of that because the last thing I want to be doing is accidentally hitting it. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything else. One thing I could do is... Well, that's not working. Frustrating. There was one sent into one of the keyboard bindings, but it's not playable for whatever reason. Hey ho, let's go and quickly take a look at the start of the race, because that was quite aggressive by a number of people. Something else as well that I'm going to very quickly do. And can all go. Refresh. Nice. Few results. So, almost 2 seconds off. Where were we struggling? Middle and final sector. And then come the race. A little bit closer. Fuel and tyres. Everyone was using tyres and fuel. Nobody was hacking. It's good to see. And then, yeah, tyre wear was probably a little bit higher because of those spins that I had. Fuel consumption's relatively high, but I think that's a Porsche thing, judging by that of other people. I mean, not really, obviously. Fuel saving all that much. Alright, Jensen, thanks very much for tuning in. It was good chatting, and thanks again for the support. Look forward to, hopefully see you Monday. Alright. Here we go. Huge field of cars rushing down towards turn 1. I think I'm playing it overly safe. Yeah, I did try alt-tabbing. That didn't work. Send there, but just over. So, I lost 1 position already. One, thank you very much for subscribing to the channel. Much appreciated. Yeah, this Ferrari got off the line a little bit better than we did, but the track is pretty ram-jammed. Oh, there was quite a bit of contact up in front. That was close. I'm curious as to where this damage on the front nose came from then. So I don't think there's going to be anything yet. Ah, there. That makes a bit more sense. And then that was quite a frustrating and desperate lunge. Went in way too deep. Glad they ever made that move. That's what cost us all the positions, I think. And then, yeah, those silly mistakes cost us, I think, at least 15 seconds. So we could have been up and around Limeliers, who I think was kind of like P9. So it could have been a fair bit higher up. That's for sure. Still, it was a good race whilst it lasted. I did quite enjoy that one. It was quite busy all the way through. Had to remain very much switched on with the nature of the track. So it's very easy to make mistakes like the Ferrari there in front did. Coming through these sections, and they're quite costly. Right. Anyway, thanks very much everyone for tuning in this evening. Shame that we didn't get the result that we were hoping for and didn't actually make it to the end because of a technical issue that I had. Don't know, not entirely sure what it was exactly, but yeah, I'm sure we'll pass it on to the devs and see if they can figure out what the issue is. Either way, we will be back Monday evening for our race around Sebring. I look forward to seeing you then, but until that time, have fun, look after yourselves, stay safe, and have a good rest of the week and weekend. Ciao for now.